jumping show. It's my first show after having my little baby girl, so it's only been 3.5 weeks, and she's hanging out with my mom right over there. And Bling is gonna attempt some jumping. I've only done one jumping course with her at home, but she has done some more jumping with some students and stuff earlier. So we're gonna give this a go. We're not riding to win today. We're just gonna ride to try to give her a good experience. And we're just training for the thoroughbred makeover because it's only 2.5 months away. So we gotta get this done. Wish us luck. So here we go in for the first jumping round here, and even though it's a jumper competition, we're going to be riding this, trying to just show Bling that she needs to be relaxed and she can trust me, and I want her to be accurate. So we're doing our salute, and if they had hunters here, I probably would have entered her in hunters, just because that's going to be more similar to the field hunter stuff that she's going to be training for. So here when I go to get started, she tries to just blow her shoulder out the outside there because she's thinking about the outgate rather than focusing on my cues. So rather than just going off on the pattern, I decide to make a little circle and get our correct lead. And then this is the first jump, and she kind of bobbles towards it a little bit. It kind of caught her, I think, a little bit by surprise. It looks a little different, and she was a little unsure and didn't really know what we were up to in the ring. Now keep in mind that up until this point, I have done one jumping session with her, which was only a couple days before this. And prior to that, she did do some jumping with a couple of my students in some lessons, but has not done a ton of jumping, and definitely her first this would only be her second time jumping with me. So this is all relatively new for her, but once she kind of does it, then she starts to figure out, okay, this is what we're doing. Notice that she chipped 2 strides into the 1 stride there, and just kind of, comes in a little bit messy. She's tossing her head a little bit at me, which just tells me that she's a bit nervous. So as she gets more confident, we should see that get a little bit better. The rhythm there is starting to get a lot better. And then that was a really nice stride into the fence, and there she did the perfect 3 strides, so that's looking really good in that area there. And the course kind of gets smoother as she gets going. Like that was another set of really good striding, and she can do flying lead changes, but she's not 100% focused in the ring, so she cross-cantered in the back end there, and so I brought her back down and got the correct lead. There we knocked the rail just because I got her too close to the fence. So that's not the end of the world though. And then coming up towards the middle here, gets a decent stride and finishes on the correct lead. So then I just bring her down, and then you can see she's on a super loose rein and she's pretty relaxed. So it started a little bit rough for sure, but then definitely finished much better. So I was really happy with that for our first round, first show. And then here's a look at our second round. And these are, this was the 2-6 division, or they said it was, I think, 2-3 to 2-6. So that's kind of what we're working with here. So here we go on our second trip, off on the right lead there into our first fence. And you can see she lands on the wrong lead, and then she doesn't really, she kind of pulls at me rather than listening to get her lead change. So I just bring her back down. And I don't want to let her go around on the wrong lead because this is about trying to get her to understand what her job is and what, it's important to be correct. There she landed on her correct lead. So we're on the left lead canter now as we come into our line. 1, 2, 3, up and over. So that was really nice that she listened to me to get the striding there, although you can see she's doing a little bit of head flipping. And that's just sometimes when they get nervous, they will kind of toss their head a little bit. When you're giving them cues with the reins and they're saying like, let go of me, they're feeling overwhelmed, so they want less pressure. So it's a bit of a fine balance of I'm trying to give her head as much as I can. At the same time, I still need to steer her and tell her where to go. But there you can see she's settling in a lot better. She's looking really nice in the frame that she was carrying, and she had nice striding to those fences there. So she did land on the wrong lead there, so I had to bring her back to get the correct lead. She tried to swap, but only did her front feet. There she knocks the last rail, maybe because I brought her in too close, I'm not really sure. And there she was actually able to get the correct 1 stride. So that's better than the first round where she chipped 2 strides in there and finishes up the course really nicely there. and again comes down to her walk, brought her down to a halt. And here I'm just getting her to do a little bit of a backup just to kind of reinforce my halt and asking her to be soft.
So we just finished up our second round and I couldn't be happier with how she's doing. She seems pretty comfortable and she's got to learn to pick up her feet a little bit more. We've definitely got homework. I'm excited to try this last round. I just wanted to do a little shout out for my sponsors and say thank you to Thin Line. I love my seat saver that I have on my saddle, and Bling really likes her jumping boots that she's wearing. And of course, we love our impact protection from our saddle pad. Big thank you to IRH. We all know that I'm a huge supporter of helmets. Being a public health nurse and registered nurse, I know the impact of concussions and head injuries. Your head just doesn't heal the same way as like a broken arm or a broken leg. And IRH are like the best helmets out there. I love them. So definitely those are great. And then also a shout out to Scoot Boot. Bling still has sensitive feet, so she's been wearing her Scoot Boots 24/7. And also a big thank you to Omega Alpha. Bling's been on Biotic Aid and Gastro Effects to help with her tummy. Evelyn would also like a little shout out. She's with Grandma right now in the background. You can show little Evelyn there. And thank you to WinTech as well.
Here's a look at one of my students. All of my students ride in WinTech saddles. We love them because they're just really durable and really light and adjustable for the lesson horses. This is Allie. She ended up finishing champion in her division, and we're super proud of her because this is a horse that used to be like really scared and refused a lot, and she's worked really hard, and now the horse is really honest and they're really gemming together.
Also a big thanks to Tapestry Comfort Girth. You can see Bling is wearing her Tapestry Comfort Girth. She really loves it. Makes her super comfortable in the saddle. All right, let's do the last round.
So here we go, the last round that we're doing. I'm giving my little salute there. And this is a speed round. So was the last one. It was a speed round. But you'll notice that I'm taking the corners nice and wide. And really, I'm really not trying to win the round today. I'm trying to show Bling how to be correct in the ring. So we're off to a much better start at the beginning there, where she came in, picked up the lead really nicely, went over the first jump really good, and she's moving out a little bit kind of strong here, taking a little bit longer spots, but overall she's doing way more confident and getting her leads much better coming into the jumps, which is great, and landing on the correct leads there. So I was pretty happy with that. So here on this one, she landed on the wrong lead, so I'm going to bring her back to trot and rebalance her and then ask her to go up in the correct lead there. And really emphasizing for her, I want the correctness, I want her to think about what she's doing. As we come into our one stride there, she did do our one stride, but did knock the first rail there, and I think that's just because I brought her in a little bit too deep, and I'm really not worried about that so much. I'm more worried about her listening to the corners and being soft through her frame. There she landed on the correct lead, and then she came back to me really nicely, really nice turn. Notice how her head's more level, and she didn't do any tossing of her head through the corner as well on that one. That one she knocked, but the wind had already blown over the middle part of the jump, and so I think it looked like a ground rail on the wrong side, so I think that's probably why she knocked it there. And then finishes up those couple jumps nicely, but lands on the wrong lead there. So I just bring her back to trot to be accurate, but I'm really happy with her because she ended up not tossing her head and being much more relaxed. You can see a big difference in her head carriage and just how she's going between the first one and the last one. So I'm super happy with that. We ended up with a few ribbons. So I'm just going to share a couple little pictures with you. And my team did super awesome as well, getting some champion in reserve. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was our first show, and I am a super proud mama.